Alright, hey guys, welcome to another episode of Think Out Cloud, the cloud-based talk show about cloud computing. Alright, I'm Niño Valmonte, and today we'll be talking about Salesforce University. So you might be thinking, what is Salesforce University? Is it a new school that's being put up where the best salespeople are being bred? Well, we'll find out today. So first, let me introduce a very special guest who is, chiming in from Singapore. He is the Senior Manager for Alliances and Channels in Asia for world-leading cloud CRM service provider Salesforce.com. Please welcome Mr. Wing-Yip Chan.
Thank you. Hi everyone, this is Wing, and glad to be able to join this session. So, let's get ready for some good information, and then if you have any questions, feel free to throw it in.
Right, thanks Wing. Also with us is a very special guest co-host who was with us last week for the Salesforce University webinar, IPC Sales Director for Salesforce.com, Mr. Brian Dizon.
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this webinar, and let's get ready to go.
All right, so thanks again, Wing-Yip, for being with us today. We really appreciate your sharing your time and insights about Salesforce University. So to get started, IPC has been a Salesforce partner for close to 10 years now, and was the first Salesforce partner in the Philippines. After gaining much product knowledge from reselling and then developing the skills to deploy and do consulting work for Salesforce, it was the ideal next step for IPC to become a Salesforce University partner. Could you tell us more about the Salesforce University program? When it started, why was it started in the first place, and what were the objectives behind this?
The main objective of having Salesforce University is to ensure that the users get the knowledge and the competency in using the Salesforce technology. Because Salesforce places very large emphasis on the customer success, meaning to say that the customers who are adopting our technology get to understand and know what it means to be using it and how it should be used in relevance to their business needs. So there's definitely a need to actually create courses and training to equip the market with the necessary know-how as well as competency, so that they could continue to leverage on the Salesforce technology and to help grow their business.
Well, okay. So I guess Salesforce uses its extended network of partners to be able to train and ensure that users have that kind of knowledge. What does it take for a Salesforce partner to become a Salesforce University partner?
I think there's a few major criteria. Number one, the partner has to be, experienced enough in the market, to have seen enough projects, seen enough implementation work, to be able to have the hands-on experience to realize what is needed from the end user. So that's number one. Being experienced in the market is definitely a very highly prized asset. Second is the aptitude and the inclination towards knowledge build up for the end user community. Now, we have a lot of consulting SI or partners, but we do not have many authorized training partners. So when a partner has done enough in the market to actually understand the needs, understand what the user wants, we could actually work with them and partner with them selectively to offer customized courses to the market to address the gap that we are seeing today. So IP Converge happened to be one of such partners in this region that Salesforce is working very closely with.
Yes, so just to what you said, that makes it even more proud for myself that we are part of the Salesforce University partnership. Wing-Yip, how can a Salesforce University partner add value to the customer and partner ecosystem today?
Definitely, I think the partner who is actually an authorized partners, training partners of Salesforce, to value add in two areas. One is helping the end user in actually, furthering the adoption and the usage of the Salesforce technology in their environment. Because typically, when the user adopts Salesforce, it is not just one phase; it can come in multiple phases. So, with the knowledge and the transfer of competency to the end user will be in a better position to realize how they could make full use of technology to help their business. So that is very important in helping them to improve the adoption. Second, for the partner community, take for example, we have a lot of new partners that we've recruited in Vietnam, and guess what? We are turning out to IP Converge, because you guys are offering the training and the certified trainer to help conduct classes. Now we need to jumpstart the partners in a foreign country. We need the resources. We need people who know what needs to be done. That's why I think that's where the Salesforce University partner comes in very handy. And in this particular case for Vietnam, it's actually IP Converge.
Awesome. So, Wing-Yip, with that being said, what does it mean internally to the Salesforce organization when a partner of yours becomes a Salesforce University partner?
I think
yes. Go ahead.
Because everyone can be a consulting SI, but not everyone could turn out to be a training partner. Because the training partner has a sense of commitment and also a focus in helping Salesforce, to work as partners closely with Salesforce to bring knowledge transfer to the market that we are working in. So in the case of Philippines, IP Converge is the one and only authorized certified training partner that could offer courses, right, to help the partners or the end users, be it in picking up basic 101 skill or administrator skill or developer skill. So that's where I think to us it's very important to have a partner who is capable of doing that, because we would be able to actually grow the market together.
Nice. I assume that the Salesforce University curriculum covers quite a range of topics. Could you give us an idea and enumerate some of these?
Yep, I think that the topics actually can be easily figured out depending on what role you are. If take for example, if you are an administrator, you need to be able to configure the user interface to actually help your organization to build workflow. You could take up the basic administrator course that is also offered through IP Converge. And of course, if you have acquired the basic know-how, the 101, you wanted to take on a more advanced training, it could be the developer course where you'll be exposed to helping to build workflow through point-and-click, drag-and-drop customization. So that is where I think we try to actually first understand the role of the person who's taking the course, and from there we point the specific courses and the roadmap for the person to ramp up. So these are just some of the courses that are very commonly offered in this region: the administrator as well as the developer course.
I guess this means that a Salesforce University partner needs to have all these skill sets and not just the breadth but also the depth of knowledge and even the experience on all of these subjects in order to even be conversant about those topics, let alone train people on them.
Certainly. In fact, you need to have a very good hands-on knowledge. That's where you could use the technology to pull the people to the business process. Because there's always a saying, right? People, process, and technology. Where Salesforce comes in is that we are technology, but we help to pull the people so that they could stick to the business process and execute according to what the management wants, so that they could work towards the optimal result.
People, process, and technology.
Correct. That's correct. Well, I guess following on the webinar last week, Salesforce University is really there for the different skill sets in the organization, so that you can maximize your investment in the Salesforce tool. But with that being said, Wing, in the first place, could you tell us why it's so important for the Salesforce users to undergo training for these topics? I mean, what happens if you have this skill inside Salesforce, and what else are the benefits that they would have within your organization?
Okay, I'll give a very layman example. It's like you have gotten yourself a car, but if you do not have a driver's license, or you do not know how to even turn on the car engine and to switch on and flip on the signal light, and to be able to actually work on the brakes, or to actually when to actually accelerate and when to decelerate, then we have a problem. So technology can only do this much if the person is trained and proficient enough to enhance it, to harness it, to use it to the best of the business need. But if the person is not trained, then it's going to be very dangerous, because having technology alone cannot solve the need for a a complete solution for the business. So that's why training is very important, because you have the know-how, the knowledge, then you know how to bring the technology to use it to manage the people who work towards the process. So it's back to the people, process, and technology once more.
Yes, yes, that's a perfect analogy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well, I guess talking about the training sessions, I mean, Brian, could you give us an idea with regard to IPC's upcoming training schedule?
Sure. So IPC runs public classroom training. It's here in our facility in RCBC Tower, 34th floor. So we do ADM 201 training and we do Dev 401. We've actually plotted our training schedules, although we have different variety next year. But I guess in the next 5 months, just to let you know, we will be running an ADM 201 administrator training from June 27 to July 1st. The next one will be August 22nd to the 26th. And then we'll also have from September 2019 to 23. For the dev courses, we'll be running a training from July 5 to the 29th. Oh, sorry. July 25 to the 29th and October 24 to the 28th.
So there's a session every month, right?
Yes, we pretty much want to have a session to be running every 4 weeks, so to speak. Right? And your team has been very helpful in us marketing this to the public here in the Philippines, so that we can get more trainings on board. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so, well, we're pretty much set for the rest of the year. So Wing-Yip, tell us what's next after undergoing deep dive training sessions with IPC. How can enterprises capitalize?
I think after you have actually attended the training, the important thing is to actually try to understand what is the current customer acquisition as well as retention strategy for the organization that you're working for. Because in every organization, unless you are a non-profit organization, you would definitely need to find, win and keep your customers, right? I think that's where, if you were to look at the find, to be more elaborate, you can find new leads, you can find new opportunity, you can find new pipeline. Is this what your organization is looking at? So this number one thing that you need to bear in mind. Knowing how to use the technology is one thing, but now applying to the business, it means understanding the business customer acquisition strategy, how they acquire the customers, how they acquire new opportunity, and how they can work on the opportunity to win it and to close it, right? So coming to the winning part, that's where you are looking at winning any qualified opportunity that's identified, winning new logo for your organization, because every new logo means growth for the company, and that also translates to net new revenue. Now, having all the effort put in to find the customers and winning them to be with you, you do not want them to go away. You want them to continue to work with you. You want them to continue to invest in the technology and the solution, and you just want to keep them, because it's all about recurring revenue. And that's where I think if you have a training, you have attended both the administrator and developer training, what's next is to help the organization understand that CRM is all about finding, winning, and keeping customers. That's where the technology will come in to identify the right process, with the help of IP Converge and Salesforce, and then we could help the end user to execute the process in according to what the management wants them to work towards, so that it's consistency and there's actually a standard process, be it in finding, winning, or keeping the customers.
Okay, so I mean, what are the primary business drivers behind adoption of Salesforce?
I think the main drivers is always, there's always a few from what we see in the market. There's a never-ending need to grow, because every organization has a responsibility and accountability to their shareholders, grow, especially listed companies. And of course, the need to get ahead of competition, because there are so many players out there in the market. If you are not good at what you're doing, you are just in a red ocean. You need to differentiate yourself. And of course, today, if you look at what's happening in Philippines, take for example, everyone is using a smartphone, almost everyone. And everyone is somehow connected in one way or the other through social media. Now, from social media, you can actually use it in the right way to either increase the exposure on any good news. And on the other hand, if there's any negative news, you want to be quickly able to identify those news and able to put a handle on it, right? So that it do not become a major crisis on the social media for your organization. So that is where people are looking into Salesforce today, to look into how they could tap on, provide listening into the social media circles and to be able to pick up information relevant, at the same time provide an improvement in customer services, right, to the end users, because it's all about keeping the customers, making them happy, and getting them to stay on with you for a long time.
It's almost like the quickest to react wins the business, right?
Yes, definitely. That's where I think, because there's so much competition today, you need to differentiate yourself by providing a better service so that the customers will stick with you and continue to work with you. And that's where the primary business drivers is always boiled down to that few point, which is at the bottom of the slides: the need for growth, right? The need to tap on and listen to the social media for feedback, as well as the need to get ahead of competition and to provide better quality support services to the customers. So it has to be one of these reasons or more of this. But most of the time, we would recommend the end user organization not to boil the ocean, but to pick one at a time to work on, so that they have a phased approach and they could grow from it.
All right. Aside from these, are there other drivers for adopting Salesforce?
Certainly, a lot of times, I think the companies, most of the companies have great products, services that they're offering to the market. But the major challenge that we are seeing in companies today is that they do not have a very consistent or repeatable customer acquisition process. From the very stage where they identify a raw leads right down to the customers, agreeing to purchase and buy from them. So if they could not define the acquisition process for customers, then effectively they could not measure. When you can't measure, you can't improve. So it boils down to helping the customers to put a handle into defining their sales stages, helping them to measure it and improve from it. Right. At the same time, this is also proven to be a very game-changing move for a lot of companies that want to transform themselves, because many companies today are facing a big challenge with legacy workflow, legacy process. So if they could actually relook into their current process and see how they could make it better, that's where I think Salesforce will come in very handy as a technology to help their user, which is the people, to adhere and stick to the new business process. So that's why, in a nutshell, I think most of the people who are using Salesforce get to have a very tangible benefits and return on investment, including getting more customers, winning more, which is improving the conversion rate, keeping the customers happier, as well as the ability to connect the business on the go, so that you do not need to go back to the office to get things done. You can work and you can respond using your smartphone wherever you are.
Well, that's great, Wing-Yip. It's loud and clear, and I remember a few months back when we were discussing that find, win, keep, and grow, and we were using the analogy of a pail of water and someone poking holes into that. I've used that several times, Niño, because actually that's what find, win, keep, and grow is. You have to always constantly find water to put in a pail. But someone from either the outside or the inside will try to take the water from you. So you have to have a strategy also to keep it there, right? So that you could always consistently grow your business. Yes. Yes, it is.
All right.
Okay, so just sorry, Wing-Yip, just to continue. Could you share some success stories from Salesforce? There's some use cases probably.
Sure. So actually, what I'm going to touch on is just a few isolated cases, just to get everyone understanding that there is a way that you can find out more. Just need to go to the Salesforce website, and under the selection called customers, just click on to the green buttons, and then you'll be able to actually go in and zoom into verticals or industries as closest to your background, right? So that's where you could actually identify. Take for example, if you come from pharmaceutical companies, You want to know what other pharmaceutical players are doing. You come from e-commerce companies like Lazada, you want to know what they are doing. You come from a customer service background, you wanted to know what Sony is doing, right, to actually improve the customer service. You come from a bank, you want to know how some of the banks, like Siam Commercial Bank in Thailand, is using Salesforce to identify the high net worth individual, the top 5 to 10% customers that they really want to keep in their banks, right? So this is many examples that you can go to. So today I cannot be going through everyone, but I would rather teach you where to fish for information, and you could actually go in and you can help yourself.
Nice. That's great information for us and for all the viewers. I guess at this point we could check if there are any questions from the audience. Okay, so we have one here. It says, who should attend the training sessions? Are there any minimum technical knowledge requirements? So do they need to know something already before actually joining the sessions?
In fact, it's very simple. If you really want to have a quick test drive on who is suitable for the training session, there's actually a website called Salesforce Trailhead, Trailhead, Trailhead. It's for free. It's for anyone who wants to know a little bit more about Salesforce training and what are the courses that's applicable to themselves. They could go on there, they could actually do a test drive and find out for themselves what is most suitable for themselves. So that is actually Salesforce Trailhead, right? I repeat, it's Trailhead. So you can go in and you can find out. And for people who are actually very inclined towards development and trying to actually build something out of nothing, anyone with a VB, Visual Basic background is more than enough to handle the training required from Salesforce.
Oh, okay. I'm not qualified then.
But going back to Trailhead, Trailhead is a fantastic resource.
Oh, okay.
My team uses it all the time. Make sure that also we're up to date with what's new in Salesforce.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So for the viewers, just take note of that, Salesforce Trailhead. Check it out, and you basically know whether you're supposed to be the one to attend or if you're supposed to suggest to someone else from your organization.
Sure.
One question here: do you repeat the sessions and topics? How often? I think you do, right? The topics are repeated. It's like a cycle, right?
Yes. Well, I think what you're saying about repeating topics.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for example, in the admin training, reports and dashboards, right? So within your training course, that is going to be pounded on you,
okay.
Right? Because basically that's one of the most important features in the tool.
All right. Okay. Where do you hold the training sessions? So I believe IPC announces that.
I'm sure, Wing-Yip, I hope you don't mind if I answer this question. So,
no, please.
Sure. So, as I mentioned earlier, what IPC does primarily is we have public classroom trainings, which are the ones that are set every 4 weeks or every month. We hold it right here in the RCBC Plaza, Tower 2 on the 34th floor, in our own training facilities. But also keep in mind that there are other options within the Salesforce University universe, so to speak. So actually, our trainer Chase Omsuna, aside from doing public classroom trainings here, he can also be contracted directly by Salesforce to run training sessions, mainly in Asia Pacific. So he's already done it in Vietnam, he's done it in South Korea. And actually today he's in Singapore running training sessions, and those are Salesforce branded. They just use our trainer, but also within Salesforce University, there are other options for you. Also, there's virtual training, there's e-learning training, and whatnot. Right.
All right, so there's no excuse.
There is no excuse for you not to get yourself trained, because Salesforce University has made it so accessible for you in the mode that is most comfortable for you as well.
All right, nice. Okay, so how long do training sessions last? Do they vary by topic? I guess they do, but how long do they last?
So for the training sessions that IPC primarily offers, which is for the ADM and the dev. They are 5 days, 5 whole days. So it is an investment of your time, but it is well worth it so that you can maximize your company's investment on the Salesforce tool. So it is 5 days. It runs from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Chase can stay on board as long as you like to answer all of your questions. It's very hands-on. It includes, I'm sorry, I forget to say this, but it includes breakfast, lunch, and then after lunch.
Full board.
Yes, full board. But of course, within the Salesforce University library of resources, there are several different training sessions. Some of them run for 2 days, some of them run for 5 days.
Okay, so they vary.
Yes, they vary. But for the specific courses that IPC offers, they are your 5 days, 9 to 5.
Okay. So do the attendees need to bring anything? Do they need to bring their own laptops?
They should be.
They should.
their own
Okay.
laptops. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Okay, last question here. Can we have our IT staff trained and then do our own deployment of Salesforce, I suppose? It's a trick question.
I would like to say it depends, because with Salesforce, since the tool is customizable, right? It can work all the way to the most complex systems. Let's say a conglomerate with 20 different subsidiaries, with 40 different types of other technologies that Salesforce has to get integrated in. Right? But for more simpler instances, more out-of-the-box type of training, where all you need to do is some configuration. Let's separate configuration from customization. Configuration is basically working with a tool and configuring what is already available. Right? Customization, which is on a dev track, an admin can do the configuration. A dev is on the customization where they have to run some code.
I see.
So for an instance that is very simple, all you have to do is some configuration, some workflows here and there, do a reports in a dashboard, fix up the field so it's more attuned to your company. I am sure that a training with that, you can run it all on its own.
All right. So I guess what we're saying, the short of it is that leave it to the experts.
Leave it to the experts if you feel the complexity there.
Yes.
Yeah, but also the experts can train you so that you can leave it on your own.
All right, perfect. So I think that's all the questions that we have, and I guess that's all the time that we have for the show right now. If you have other questions about Salesforce University, please email salesforceteam@ipc.ph. Wing-Yip, let me thank you again. Thank you so much for gracing the show, and we appreciate your time and your insights.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. In fact, it's my pleasure. Thanks a lot for hosting the session.
Great. And thank you, Brian, for being our guest co-host. And hope to do this again soon with you. Huh?
Yes, let's do this.
All right, so see you guys again next week on the next ThinkoutCloud Webcast. Bye-bye.
See you guys.